is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to you with a quick video. I wanted to let you guys know I got some new merchandise available, not just t-shirt anymore. I got different type of t-shirt, different type of shirts and logos that you can purchase on my spread shirt, and also hoodies now. We have expanded and added more to the channel and more merchandise for the brand. Thanks for supporting. It will be in the description and the links will be in the comment section below. Thanks for helping me and supporting the movement. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm going to check out the video. What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to you with a quick video. It's been so fun making these videos as the season is about to start on Tuesday. I gave you guys a Siakam, so I'm going to give y'all a fun video. We're going to do the top 10 duos in the NBA. Everybody been showing how happy they is that it's much more balanced in the NBA. It's not that one team that everybody knows going to win for sure because of trades and injuries haven't happened just yet. And it's a lot of young teams that really haven't proven anything or have a new identity, new coach, or even just new players in general. So, in my personal opinion, this is going to be a very good year when it comes to talent. Even the worst teams have a decent starting lineup. Sometimes some teams didn't even have NBA players. They were just going through the G League just to find something. That ain't going to be the case as much this year, as a lot of these rosters are full and a lot of these rosters are very, very deep. So I want to give honorable mentions: Andrew Wiggins, Karl-Anthony Towns. Towns is just so great and so dominant that he can be on this list on his own. But Andrew Wiggins haven't carried his weight. Robert Covington coming off some injuries, and he's more of a just a 3-point shooter and transition player. So when you look at that, that's not enough to crack this list just yet, as they don't really have that other guy that you can really say that's a dynamic duo, because those guys haven't proven it, but they can this season. Another one that barely missed the list was De'Aaron Fox and Buddy Hield. I feel like Fox and Hield will be on this list, but just not right now. They didn't make it to the playoffs. Plus, we don't really know if they're going to take that next step. And we don't even know if Bagley going to be that second guy or is going to be Hield. They have some problems. They did not get to the contract agreement yet. So they might not even be a duo next year. So keep that in mind. And it's just a couple more fun ones. But let's get into it. Kristaps Porzingis and Luka Doncic. These are two 20-point scorers. Porzingis was an all-star in the Eastern Conference. Luka was the rookie of the year, so I think he gets the edge over De'Aaron Fox and Buddy Hield, because you're getting two 20-point scorers. It's just that Fox and them had a better coach and a better team, and they succeeded a lot more, and I give them credit. But we haven't seen these duo play just yet. But when you look at how they play in preseason, they're a perfect match. They're a perfect fit. They can play in the pick and roll. They can dive to the rim. They can switch. They can shoot threes. If you put some lid on them, they can post up and shoot over them or face up. So I think the dynamics of this team fits perfectly when they have the type of duo that they have. I just don't like the play pieces around them enough to make them a playoff contender. But I also didn't have Sacramento making it to the playoffs either, and neither did I have Minnesota. So I think all these teams are in the same boat, and all these teams didn't even make it last year. So I don't really know if you could put one or the other. But I think with the ceiling and how the players have performed so far in their career, I got to go with Doncic and Porzingis. DeMar DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge, I got them at number 9. I love this duo. I thought they'd be a lot better because I thought DeMar DeRozan would be more hungrier and just out to prove a lot of things after getting traded for Kawhi Leonard, who ended up going on to win a championship with the Toronto Raptors, which don't really look that good on DeMar DeRozan because he did it in one season. And the furthest DeMar DeRozan ever got was the Eastern Conference Finals, and he passed that in one season. So it doesn't look right for DeMar. And on top of that, Damian Lillard, he was just in the Western Conference Finals without LaMarcus Aldridge. So they're aging. They're getting to that point where they're in their prime, and this is probably as good as they're going to get, which means they're still one of the best duos, but they still was able to go to the playoffs. They still was able to force a Game 7 against a great duo and team that was actually a lot better than them, because they didn't have Lonnie, they didn't have DeJounte Murray on that team, and they still competed throughout the whole season and during the playoffs. So that's why I have them in my top 10, and one of them was an all-star, and LaMarcus Aldridge. Steph and Dre. Only reason I got this duo lower, because if it was Steph and Clay, they'd be obviously in the top 3. But since Klay Thompson, we don't know how he's going to be. We don't know how he's going to be defensively. We don't know how laterally he's going to move right away. So you can't really force them into the top 3 just because Clay is Clay. Teams and players have regressed, and this team is right now focused around Stephen Curry and Draymond Green. Draymond Green is not the player that Clay is, and Clay is a better player than Draymond. So I got to factor that they took a loss. Steph is still one of the greatest players ever. I have to give him credit on that. I do got the Warriors making it to the playoffs. Draymond Green showed that he still got a lot left in the tank against Portland and against Houston, that he can still rebound, he can still defend, he can still pass, and he can knock down shots every now and then. And that's enough to be an all-star this year, and that should be enough to get them in the eighth spot. Seven, Damon, CJ. I know everybody, oh, they made it to the Western Conference Finals. They should be higher. I was like, no, because CJ not an all-star. He's not an all NBA caliber player. Dame is, so Dame is carrying majority of that team. I love me some CJ McCollum. I felt like he was going to be one of the best players in that draft before he even played a game, and he ended up making that come true. But he is a great, solid shooting guard. He's not the superstar shooting guard. He's not the greatest defender, and neither is Dame. But you do got to give them credit as a team that had blew away expectations winning 50 games again. Not only that, they also did a great job of making as far as they could in the Western Conference. This was a team that got swept multiple times. They ended up getting swept against Golden State, so they still got a lot more to prove, and they still one piece away from being one piece away from possibly winning a championship for Portland, last since Bill Walton, I believe. Mike Conley and Donovan Mitchell. I know they're not as proven as CJ and Dame, or a team like Steph and Dre or DeMar DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge. But when you look at this team, Donovan Mitchell was a 24-point scorer. Mike Conley was a 20-point scorer. They both are solid defensive players at their positions. They both, Mike Conley can shoot the three off the ball. He also can get to the paint and make passes and make floaters and knock down free throws. And he's a guy that has continuously improved. He is a little injury prone, but when you talk about fit, this is the perfect complementary player to a guy like Donovan Mitchell. I wanted to put Gobert on this list, but I think Mike Conley, his two-way ability gives him that little notch that above Rudy Gobert. I love me some Gobert. I had him for Defensive Player of the Year. I continually put Utah in my playoff predictions because they're just that good, and it's because of Quinn Snyder, who just got a contract extension, well deserved. I love me some Quinn Snyder. I love me some Donovan Mitchell, even though he disappointed me a little bit last year because of the start. But I love me some Mike Conley. And I think that this is more my prediction. I think they will be a lot better duo than a lot of people think. But then again, a lot of people think they're a serious contender, which means they backcourt is just that impressive. And then you put that anchor Rudy Gobert in there with two good perimeter guys, and Bojan can play some defense too. You in for some trouble this year. So this is just going off based off how I'm predicting the season to go, and I got them above the other ones when it comes to talent and fit and ability to play well off each other. Number five, Jokic and Murray. This is a new debate for them. I had them in my top 10 last year, but I didn't have them top five. I think they're an elite duo. Only problem with this is they're not great defenders, but they have achieved a lot of things, being the number two team in the West, finally breaking that spell and not making the playoffs. I think Murray gets paid. I think he's hungry. He wants to go out there and prove that he's worth the money. They got a lot of talent on his roster, so he doesn't need to do anything stupid or crazy. I just feel like Murray just need to focus on being a solid defender and a whole lot better of a passer and playmaker and decision maker. And if he can do that, he can just take his game to another level just in that regard. Because right now he's just a scorer and he's just a shooter. I think he can just continue to improve on there, improve on his touch and his efficiency. Jamal Murray can be easily a 20-point scorer, 7 to 8 guy in assists, and that should be good enough to make them in the All-Star team, because if they continue to win the way they've been winning, that's going to come along with it, and we've seen it happen with Jokic this year. Russell Westbrook and James Harden. This is another one that I predict, and it's just because James Harden's so good, going for 37 points and over 40 points. In preseason, James Harden can do whatever he wants, whatever he feels, so whatever defender that you put up on him. Russ is another guy that can do the same thing. His shooting, it's always been questionable. But one thing I will say is you got to weigh how great James Harden is. And that's what I'm saying about a lot of these. James Harden is a 36-point scorer. He's a guy that has went to the Western Conference Finals twice, and it was up 3-2 on the Golden State Warriors, the only team that had put Golden State in elimination outside of Kawhi Leonard and the Raptors, but they wasn't healthy. So with that being said, that just shows you how great of a player James Harden is. He's an MVP. He's a scoring champion. He has done everything you can do besides win the Finals MVP, and that's the biggest question on him. Westbrook is a guy that has averaged a triple-double for the last 3 seasons. He's shown that he can take a back seat. He's shown that he's willing to adjust. I see it in the preseason, but I really want Westbrook just to go out there and do him, and everything will come to him because Harden is just that great of a player, and they got a good pieces on the team that fit James Harden, Westbrook's skill sets, and their ability to pass, and their ability to demand double teams and collapse defenses. So 3, Giannis and Middleton. I wanted them to be higher, but Middleton kind of disappointed me in the Toronto Raptors series. Other than that, he has been fantastic and a perfect fit alongside Giannis. One thing I like about him this year, he's handling the ball a little bit more, playing in the pick and roll just a little bit more, making decisions quicker, knocking down a little bit more mid-range, still knocking down contested and long-range threes, even if it's on or off the ball. So I think he's the perfect complement player. They paid him like a superstar. He's starting to play a lot better, and I think that he knows that everybody going to be talking about him and Brogdon the whole year, and he just got to make sure that they know that they made the right decision by paying him the money, and that ended up making them lose Brogdon. So he gonna have to step up. He's gonna have to do more. Giannis, we already know he's 24. He got better every single season. He's a two-way player, a guy that can finish at the rim, a guy that can pass, a guy that can operate and be monstrous in transition. Plus, a great teammate and a guy that just seemed fired up and has a lot of energy going in his way. So a lot of people having him as the MVP. If that's the case, you got an all-star in Middleton, plus you got the MVP on your team that's a two-way player. That just means you're one of the greatest duos in the game right now. And they went to the Eastern Conference Finals too as a duo, so that you got to add that on there too. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, I wanted them to be number one, but we don't know what type of Paul George that we're going to get. We don't know how many games Kawhi Leonard is going to play, but what we do know is they're lockdown defenders at their position. They also have Beverly, and they got a great coach that knows how to coach team basketball and defense and holding players accountable while getting the best out of his role players. So I think Kawhi Leonard isn't going to be the guy that he was in Toronto just because he got better fit and more talent around him, so he doesn't have to do as much. Their second best player was either Siakam or Lowry, but now they have Paul George, a guy that averaged 28 points a game. You got Lou Williams that averaged over 20 points a game. So I don't think that Paul George and Kawhi Leonard need to have the seasons that they had last year for this team to be successful. At the end of the day, and I don't think they're going to really approach the season that way either. They're going to just try to go out there and knock down shots and play their roles, and that should be good enough to make them the second best duo. But if they had the seasons that they had last year on this team, then they definitely is the best duo in the NBA. But with Paul George coming off double shoulder surgery, and they still got to build that chemistry together, I think that's going to make it some rough edges, leaving them with a chance for LeBron James, who I got number one with Anthony Davis. Everybody damn near has him as the number one duo. LeBron James had months and months to rest his body to prepare for this season. Anthony Davis seemed like he's excited. He got to go where he wanted to go. He gets the spotlight. He gets the fame. He gets the opportunity to make it to the playoffs and play with one of the greatest players ever, one of the greatest passers ever, and LeBron James. And they just a perfect fit, being able to knock down shots and roll to the rim and shoot spot up threes. That's the perfect complementary player to LeBron, and he can rebound, and he can switch, and he can protect the rim. He's going to give LeBron a dynamic that he hasn't really had as a weapon on his team. And Anthony Davis hasn't had a guy that can go out there and get 30 to 40 points while also racking up rebounds and assists like LeBron James. So this is a team that should be a playoff team, should be a 50-win team, and they should be unstoppable and unguardable, and it looks like that even in preseason. But hopefully they can stay healthy, and if they do, it's hard to dethrone them as number one. But if I had to pick a duo to dethrone them, it would be Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, but they have the same question as fit, health, and if they're going to play the entire season. So if I had to be honest, I think Anthony Davis and LeBron is better than Paul George, but I do think Kawhi Leonard is better than Anthony Davis and Paul George. I mean, Anthony Davis and LeBron. Problem is, that means they're the better duo because they have two players better than Paul George and they only have one player better than both. So that's why I gave it to Anthony Davis and LeBron. That's my logic. That's my thoughts. Let me know if I slept on somebody. Let me know who you think is the best duo. What's your top 10 list? And let me know what you guys is most excited for the season. Are you excited for the balance? Are you excited for a specific team? Are you excited just to see some basketball again? Or are you just excited because there's so much things that's unknown and we can't wait to see it all unfold before our eyes? Quinn Wade, basketball analysis, I'm gone. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I read every comment. Like this video, check out my older videos on my channel. I have many playlists. I break down rookies. I break down players. I break down summer league I do cover the draft, and I got a mock draft up already. Not only that, I do podcasts, and I also talk about the game of basketball, whether it comes to summer league, free agency, trade deadline, buyouts, and also I cover top 10 discussions and stuff like that. So you like this type of video, you like the NBA, check out my older videos and my playlists. I enjoy making these videos. You guys enjoy watching.